desk.
Yeah.
Doesn't make the desk haunted, doesn't make the desk anything. It just means that's where he first read it. He could have read it on a piece of paper. He could read it. He could have just thought about it.
When you're breaking it down, I understand that for sure. Yeah. But I'm just trying to say this nightstand. If nobody bought this nightstand, they wouldn't nothing would have happened. And so and then like what we're saying, this isn't making any sense. The fact that there's a presence of a nightstand and this little girl went to go put the coin back on that nightstand, we saw a preview of what is to come. Mm-hmm. So. Either way, like, you may disagree with me on that part, but in a way, this film is not proving it's not being consistent enough for me to. No, it was for us to prove both our theories because it's not well done.
It was forced. That whole coin and the girl thing was forced to get him to go upstairs and check in that nightstand. But it would have happened eventually, and that nightstand was in the basement.
It was in the basement, but
and
still,
I don't know why the guy who lived there originally when he did all this stuff.
I don't know exactly. I guess he wasn't bothered by it. I don't know. He wasn't.
Well, it was the one who it was put in storage, wasn't it?
I don't know. The house technically has nothing to do with the murders, technically.
Okay. Yeah, so, I don't know where the guy got it. He probably just got it off.
Exactly. It's already that the fact that how it got there. I mean, we could say he bought it off Kijiji, but I don't know.
Well, there's nothing wrong with it until you start inspecting the drawer and you rip off the
and that's the worst part too. Is that like, why do you write it down in the first place? This guy was saying, "Don't say it, don't think it, don't say it, don't think it," and then, oh yeah, I'm gonna give you a hint. It's right under here, and it's. Well, why would you say it? Why would you write it? Why would you?
Well, the thing is like
he erased everything. He was so we find out how efficient Larry was. He made sure this article was not published.
Well,
he killed those people to make sure they don't mention his name, and then he drops a stupid forced hint. And like, what I'm being critical about is right now is obviously the narrative. It's the screenwriting.
Yeah,
this is what we're being critical about. So
and I'm going to challenge you here. Was Larry that efficient in getting rid of all the evidence?
Well, efficient as he could, rationally be. I don't know. I mean, he's an average person. I'm saying he was efficient enough. I mean, just don't think that like.
Well, to put it as a dead file in the library, just don't ever write those papers. Throw them out,
I feel like that was that was already written before the Bye-Bye Man started getting to him.
And if he's going to cover up, a nightstand with paper and then write "Don't say it, don't think it," just burn that whole nightstand to begin with.
Probably.
Don't just cover up words.
Oh, speaking of burning, where did that fire come from?
God, that fire
didn't make any sense.
First of all, it looked terrible. And second of all, it didn't. There was no explanation for why it started.
And the worst part is that you have his brother just outside, and you don't smell a fire, and then the way they react after, Uncle Elliot, oh my God, there's a fire, and it's like, oh hello, there's no sense of urgency. You heard a gunshot, you didn't even see what happened. How are you not trying to get? You know what I mean? It was so nonchalant after you hear this, the turning point.
I think he just really regretted bringing his daughter to a place where his brother committed suicide,
or even just in the first place. He took it to our house party.
Underage
drinking likely too. And
we see that he's not a very responsible father. He's taken her, to a party, underage drinking, and to a suicide.
So I even have a daughter. That's the thing, and I'm thinking about in my experience, and when you're writing a script, you have to say that everything happens for a reason, or they all have to lead to something. Everything has to come to full circle. They're teaching you this in schools, and you want to make sure the story makes sense. What makes you decide to have a little girl in this? What makes you decide for things to happen the way it did? Why would you have a random fire on the second floor?
Little girls are creepy.
They are creepy, but this was not played for us to be scared. You know what I mean? Is it for the continuity at the end because she has the coins? Or was it the Bye-Bye Man has a chance to basically come back of some sort because of those 2 coins? I don't know. It doesn't make any sense. Yeah. So that's why it's so critical of why would you decide to have these elements in the film?
Yeah.
So I'm totally stupefied by this. It doesn't make any sense.
I think they had a lot of elements that have worked in other horror films, and so they tried to take that and make it work in this one, and it didn't. How did you feel when Elliot realized that he could get rid of the Bye-Bye Man by deciding he wasn't afraid anymore?
Yeah, that was the solution. Okay, look, here, I'll tell you one thing. I'm going to put this out there, and this is because, now I didn't pay for this film, obviously, which is great. But if I did pay for it, actually, I don't know, it's a bit conflicting. But when that train scene happened, this is the kind of part. This is the part where I'm on the fence. I'm like, okay, I don't think I'm going to stay to watch the rest of it. But I knew we were going to talk about this, obviously. But I think if we weren't going to talk about this afterwards,
you would have walked out.
I would have walked out.
Huh?
You want to know why?
Why?
When they tell you, don't believe what you see in a film, that's that's an insult to the audience. It's like, so what you're going to see is probably not it. What you're going to see is this, and then you're never going to believe what you see. So right then and there, to me, that breaks down the credibility of this entire film. And I'm not willing to see the rest of it, but I toughed it out. Yeah. And I tried to see if there was anything redeemable after this, and there really wasn't. And
they fooled you.
They fooled me up to this point, but then I had, because we had to come back and talk about it. If you're going to tell me we're not going to do Bye Bye Man anymore, well, then I'm not going to stay. That's the thing. So after that train scene happened and that horrible interaction with Trinity being introduced to the film, I forgot what the actress's name is. You know what I'm talking about? Trinity from Matrix?
No.
Oh, you never watched The Matrix? I can't believe we're saying this publicly. You never watched The Matrix?
Let's move on.
Okay,
I forget her name.
Anyway, that actress who played the cop, okay, unfortunately, I don't remember the actress's name.
Detective. Give her some credibility.
Whatever. No, because this is the worst interaction ever. Did you see what they were doing in front of the detective? The way they were interacting? I'm like, this doesn't make any sense. This is the climax of the film? This is it? This is the... How do you write this down and film it? It doesn't make any sense to me.
I will tell you I enjoyed it. I enjoyed that scene.
Because it's funny.
It's funny. It's also... I didn't think of Elliot running after Kim with a bloody hammer.
It's true.
While she's screaming. As anything, I didn't think of it in the way that it must have seemed to the train driver. It's like, for sure she's running away from this crazy guy. And I enjoyed that. I enjoyed also...
But how could you believe the train driver? Like the film's telling you otherwise. Yeah. The film is... That's the thing. They killed their incredibility there.
They did.
They totally killed it.
I think what they should have
done... It's the train driving the whole time on the tracks on top of that, and he's just, it's the numbers are 41442, by the way. And I'm like, it means nothing. No. Absolutely. No. At least if it said 1969, maybe a little bit more of it, more tacky, but definitely more relevant.
Yeah.
And it's, I don't know. So right then and there, the movie lost me. The film lost me right there. Right there, I was like, okay. And the thing is that I like to bring up something is, remember Oculus? Have you watched it?
No.
Okay, I watched Oculus, and the thing is that it's similar to this. Okay, for some reason I forget what the role of the mirror is, but I forget. I know what it is. It's basically the same thing. It's making you see things that are not there or supposedly, and as the characters are going along with the story, they videotape themselves doing something, and what we see, and then they see what they've taped is completely different from what they showed us.
Okay.
So they're totally toying with us the whole time, which is, it's hard. It kind of makes you uneasy watching this. But what makes it very engaging is that there's the intercut of flashbacks of what happened to their traumatic, a trauma that happened when they're child, when their parents killed each other, and that kept the film at a great pace, revealing why they are where they are and how it will lead to where it does. Now, I know we're playing spoiler with Bye Bye Man here, but I'm not going to spoil Oculus if you haven't seen it, because it is a good film. If you do want to talk about it at some point, we should. And it's a great. It's at first I didn't like it, but as I think about it a little more, it's actually a lot better.
Maybe that will come out with this one.
Sorry?
Maybe the Bye Bye Man will grow on you.
At all. Because I feel like what the Bye Bye Man was doing something similar to Oculus, and it did not pull it off properly. I mean, these are things that are really they're really hard to pull off. When are you going to say to the audience what you see is not real? I mean, already I'm watching a film, and then what you're showing me is not actually what's supposed to happen in the narrative, where it's not going to, you're just going to basically just fool us the whole time using just smoke and mirrors the whole time. There's no point.
All right. Well, I think we've hammered home that you do not like being fooled.
Exactly.
That is what this film was doing. we gotta get on board with it, or...
Well, I tried, because I did. You know what I did like though? I did like the scene that when he's in the interrogation room.
Yeah.
Like, that was actually touching, and that was actually a really good monologue. The way he convinces the detective that the reason I can't tell you is for whatever, he says that the fact that what if you have children and you don't want to tell them what kind of a horrible day you had, especially if there's like a mass shooting of some sort. So he says that he's very empathetic, he's very convincing, and that scene I liked, but that's the only scene I liked after that.
In reality, Elliot could have said anything. They could have just decided to call this guy the Goodbye Man and say, listen, there's this guy called the Goodbye Man. The name's a little different, but if I say it, that's what's going to infect you. So I'm just going to say...
I didn't think of that. That's
the Goodbye
good
Man. And I know it sounds crazy, but he is killing us off.
Could he just say, the man? Like, even... the thing is...
Yeah, like, they didn't even try. And I understand that he's going to seem crazy trying, but he also seems crazy not saying anything.
And as much as I did like the scene that he gets himself out of this interrogation, if I was the police officer, I still want to let him go even after that. So, and imagine if she kept him there, they probably would have all been alive still. So, Could have.
would,
I said could have. I mean, we're not going to be hopeful for
No.
something that's dead right now. But
No.
yeah, it's that's the thing. It kind of made me appreciate Nightmare on Elm Street a little more because that's something like you don't talk about Freddy Krueger or else you see him in his nightmares and then you have to confront him.
Well, it's the same idea. You're spreading the fear.
Exactly.
You're spreading the name.
Exactly.
People are thinking about him.
Right.
As long as you don't say the name, because that's how she is. She's like, "Who's Freddy Krueger?"
Exactly.
And
That's
then people started thinking about him.
and he started dreaming about him.
And the more fear,
yes.
the more he fed on. Like he fed on the fear, he grew. I don't know if that's how the Bye-Bye Man operates. I don't know if just because you tell him you're not afraid of him, that it'll mean he'll go away. Because he still kind of messed with people's minds.
That's the thing is that like okay, I felt like when at the end when he was at the front door, his brother was there, his girlfriend's already dead, and his friend's up there who ends up living somehow through that fire or whatever, and he seems like, what is that? The bye-bye what? The bye-bye what? And then the bye-bye is like, he's taking off his hood. I'm getting stronger. I'm about to I'm exuberating my presence. And all of a sudden he just kills himself. And I'm like, oh, really? So you're ripping off Nightmare on Elm Street? That's the exact thought I had. And the thing is that like...
Wait, what happened in Nightmare on Elm Street that was like that?
Well, it's just because the minute you mention Freddy to somebody and then you start having similar dreams, that was pulled off way better in the franchise, throughout the entire franchise, as opposed to like what were they doing here with Bye-Bye Man? They were giving the hint that like, you say his name, he's going to get stronger, but then he ends up killing himself. Yeah,
well, he gets... I don't know if he gets stronger.
His presence, like you heard it by the sound, like he's getting stronger. He's widening his eyes.
Well, he's not necessarily getting stronger. He's getting.
It seems like he's getting stronger.
Well, it seems like it, but I don't even agree that it seems like he's just taking his hood off. He's getting excited because
it's getting warm in here.
No, he's getting excited because if another person hears his name, that's his legacy living on to more people.
Well, that's getting stronger to me. That's a spirit getting stronger.
No, it's either a spirit getting stronger or a spirit having more to do.
Right, like, that's true. Yeah, I'm bored. Yeah, he's twirling his giant thumbs.
But and they didn't hint that. That was the whole.
I felt like they were hinting that because that's what caused him to kill himself.
Stop it!
Well, don't tell me to
me.
stop it.
You got to stop interrupting me.
Oh,
I got to get my sentence out.
Oh, sorry. Okay, all right.
Saying your sentence. They definitely weren't hinting that you don't think it, don't say it, and because as soon as you hear it, or as soon as you read it, or anything like that, as soon as you start thinking about it, he is going to start coming after you. Now, the whole reason he got excited is because there's only a few people left who know about me.
Right.
And he's about to spread that word on so I can keep doing my thing.
Right.
So that's the point of the movie.
Yeah. Well, yeah, I know that. We all know that, but it's
okay, because it didn't seem like he did.
Well, how did I seem like I was just saying the fact that it's like his presence, like his I'm not saying I think like I feel like they demonstrated a bit to say like he would get stronger if someone else if his name is passed on to something else, and that would make him more active.
Yeah,
I like the same way as Krueger is in the entire Nightmare on Elm Street franchise. So,
I think it was proven that Elliot was wrong, though. Elliot was not correct in thinking that he could just that he feeds on it, and that if you just pretend that if you just
no,
act
he didn't
like
say it like that. No, it's just like if you know about him, he will come after you. Yeah, pretty much. Yeah,
but everyone knew about that.
Yeah, but that to me, like when you break it down, it's a spirit getting stronger. That's what it is. You know about the spirit, it'll come after you.
Well, it's a disease spreading.
Oh, or curse.
The disease isn't getting any stronger. The disease is just spreading to people.
Okay, I still.
I don't think he's going to be like an all powerful.
No, I don't mean
Bye-Bye Man just because the name's been spoken 20 times.
Well, then you think about Krueger. Okay, yeah, he controls your nightmares, but he's again, he's like Krueger. It's an idea. They were saying this idea. Well, that's why I kind of liked some of what they said in this film. An idea is real. So the idea of Freddy Krueger or the idea of this Bye-Bye Man, they operate the same way.
Okay.
Yeah. So, however, the thing is, I feel like this film before I found out because so they lost me at the train, right?
Yeah.
So basically, this whole idea of making his powers to make you see things that aren't there. I thought he was just eventually going to make an appearance, become this entity, not have him make you see things. So I was this was totally misconstrued on my part. I really thought I thought he was going to make an appearance. I thought he was coming off a train and he was going to beat the shit out of these kids.
Yeah.
That's what I thought it was going to be, and I'm like, no way, it's this crap, and I already spoke about how I don't like it, but that's what I first thought it was going to be,
Yeah, and doesn't Elliot have a dream at one point where he's the conductor in a train seat, and he comes up across him and his his girlfriend Sasha and John's
Butt
naked
naked?
bodies
Yeah.
standing with their back to the
I
train.
didn't get that at all.
Yeah.
This train led to nothing.
No, it's the train to nowhere.
The train to nowhere. It's great. Or you're lost on a crazy train.